What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Today we got a fun video. This is going to be the full story arc of Predator vs. Spider-Man. After the events that had transpired with Predator vs. Wolverine, Predator vs. Black Panther, now we're jumping to the streets of New York. Spider-Man, though, he is not dealing with any ordinary predator. He's dealing with a bad blood. No clan, no code, just killing. And so as we get this started, right now, summer has claimed this city. The sunlight has found every reflective surface and forced everyone to look at the world through a means of squinting. This city is boiling right now. And this heat, it only made the city cruel. Crime spiking because of it. From robberies to assault to murders. But this day was different. This wasn't a bullet to the head or a knife in the gut. This was something new. We pick up with Detective LaPearl investigating the most recent murder, a condemned building. They're trying to figure out if this was drug related, a stolen stash, vigilante wanting to clean up his block. But what we see is a handful of individuals that have been strung up and they've been skinned alive. Every one of the bodies has something missing off of them, whether it be a jaw, a rib, a finger, and they have all been skinned alive. We have a trophy hunter. This is what takes us over to Spider-Man. Jonah on the horn with him right now, telling him that he needs those photos. Peter Parker was able to get some photos of the crime scene. Now, on his way back in, of course, Spider-Man does the Spider-Man thing. Some bad guys robbing a bank. As he goes chasing these guys down, the van leads him to a warehouse. The robbers, thinking they made a quick getaway because Spider-Man had to stop and help some kids before they got run over in the road. These guys show up at their shop, and what they find is dead bodies everywhere. His 3 buddies taken out in an instant. This is when the guy raises up his gun. He's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But before this man could even see what was coming for him, something grabs his face and literally rips the skin off of it. Ripping the skin off of his face and then driving a spear right into his chest. This dude was dead before he even saw anything hit him. This is where we have our Predator looking at his new skin mask. This freaking psychopath, he puts it on his face. We are quickly learning that he's not like the others. One with no clan, no ties, just an absolute psychopath who wants to kill. I think this is one of the first accounts of an actual serial killer Utani. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's an interesting concept, something we never really played around, because every one of them we've ever seen have had honor, have been part of a clan, have had an overall goal. We've never seen one that is just absolutely batshit crazy. But Spider-Man making his way into this garage, going to take down the bad guys. As he gets inside of the garage, he sees all 4 of these men. They are skinned, parts are taken off of them, and they are hanging from the ceiling. Peter Parker now knows that this wasn't an isolated incident. They're dealing with a serial killer. Meanwhile, in the subways, we have a young red-headed girl sitting on a train. Now, we all know who this is, obviously, but they're going on the train, and like we said in the beginning, they've been experiencing power outages because of the heat wave. And when the lights go out, you have some people that start to panic. So MJ does her best to try and at least console this young blonde girl who's really struggling right now. She's having a lot of trouble dealing with this situation. She's very claustrophobic. And so when MJ tells her, like, it's all right, it feels tight inside of here, but turning on her phone light and showing her outside the window, it's right there. All that space right there on the outside. But when she flashes that light, what they see on the outside is a predator wearing a freaking human face as a mask. Picking us up with Jonah and Peter, working on getting this article up about the serial killer. Service for phones and everything like that is currently out. Using the internet right now simply is not an option. But they want to get this story out, so they're going to go the old school way. They go analog. They sell the actual papers. Sell them on the corners the old school way. No one's going to have anything to swipe or stream or click. This is how we get that information out there. So they get people on every single corner. Over the next few hours, it grew as hot as inside is out. People did everything they could to stay stay cool. None of them knew that they were all being hunted, with Jonah on the corner telling them that the streets are going to be extra dark tonight because there is a serial killer on the loose. Now, while Jonah's doing this, our detective comes up to Jonah, takes that paper, and sees the crime scene photos. Now she wants to talk to Peter Parker because she says there is now a law against disseminating photos of crime scenes without the permission of the victims or the police. Little does she know, Peter Parker is swinging above her head, taking off to take down the next big threat. And then later on that evening, we have a man sitting out here selling the paper. While he does so, two guys think it's a great idea. We're gonna go up to this guy and we're gonna rob him, doing so at gunpoint. Before they could even decide to pull the trigger, an arrow goes through one of their hands. As they go to lift up their guns and take this guy down, another guy gets an arrow in the head. He tells the newspaper man that you shouldn't be out here, that you're not strong enough, that the city is a dangerous place, especially in the dark. But before you go, you are sitting here saying that there is a new predator in town. I would like to know who that is. The person asking the questions, of course, Kraven the Hunter. We have workers that are trying with all their effort to fix this. But when one of our city workers makes his way underground, investigating electrical shorts throughout the system, this is when he sees the subway car. He hears the people screaming for help as he rushes over to pry the doors open. When he opens it up, the blood spills out. And then he sees all of the bodies. All of them skinned, all of them hanging from the ceiling. And then our predator stands before him, mimicking the cries for help. He lured this man in, and he becomes just yet another victim of the Skinner. This is where we see a glimpse of Mary J and her friend making a run for it. As they tried to hightail it to safety, we pick up with Peter Parker. Peter's made it back to his apartment, and when he hears a knock at the door, he believes that it's MJ. But what he sees is Detective LaPearl quickly slamming the door because he is still in his Spider-Man costume. Obviously, this infuriates the detective. The detective is really concerned that Peter might be involved with this. Dude had freaking crime scene photos before there was even a crime to talk about. Of course, Peter's gonna argue, why would I kill them and then publish an article about it? But at this point, our detective, after having a door slammed in her face, doesn't want to hear what Peter has to say until they can be face to face. Obviously, Peter won't let her see him, so he goes to take off. Peter wanting to help her out. He lets her know of a location to go to check the underground garage near Morton and Washington. This is where we see Peter swinging through the city, a predator ship invisible. And in a way, Peter can feel this through his spider sense, but he still obviously can't see it. He can just feel the loomingness around the entire city itself. There's a killer on the loose. MJ is missing. There's a cop after him. The power is out throughout the whole city. The temperatures have hit triple digits. And his spider sense made his brain feel like a hot itch, unable to pinpoint one specific threat. The whole city felt alive. He had to trust that MJ could take care of herself. Something is out there hunting, collecting. Skins, fingers, toes, skulls, ears, eyes. All of it is trophies. But it also left behind a calling card. This is what takes him to the New York Public Library. This is where he begins to research, trying to get to the bottom of this. We pick up at that garage that Peter Parker had talked about. We pick up with Kraven the Hunter. Kraven is seeing the work of our Skinner. And if Kraven's being honest with himself, as of late, he's been very bored. But after seeing this, that boredom quickly goes away. He has found somebody that is worthy of Kraven the Hunter. Somebody that doesn't care about money. They care about flesh, blood, and bone. Seeing that this creature, whatever it is, it takes trophies. If it takes trophies, that means it has a den, some place to store and display all of this. And he knows that they think the same. Both of them itching to make a trophy of a trophy hunter. That would be the real prize. He cannot help but appreciate the precision of how he skinned these people. The delicate but difficult task, almost like folding origami in a rainstorm. There is but one problem. Spider-Man has been here. When the detective arrives. She pulls a gun on Kraven, a very bad and very dumb mistake that she quickly regrets. But Kraven lets her know, I'm not here to fight you. You may be brave, but you're pretty stupid. But he's able to disarm her, throw her to the ground, and use Spider's web, using Spider-Man's web to really pin her down and keep her here while he goes off and goes hunting. Because he knows, if Spider-Man knows about his prize, then this is more than a hunt. This is a race. It's a matter of who gets to him first. Picking us up with Mary Jane. She has been following this underground passage for quite some time, making her way through the sewer system. They're trying to find some kind of safety. When they run into a homeless man, he quickly shushes them, telling them that they must be quiet. Be quiet or he comes. This is when he shows them. All around them are old and young, weak and strong, every gender, every ethnicity. The only thing that the victims have in common is that they were dead. This is where we find his den, his throne room. But this is no trophy room of a hunter. It's babbling, slobbering chaos, a collection of cruel madness. As we pick up with Peter Parker meeting up with Jameson, he tells Jonah that I was at the library, and what we're experiencing has been going on for a very long time. In times of war, in times of plague, in times of drought, whenever things get hot, whenever things get dangerous, having pictures from the Battle of the Bulge, German and US soldiers, skinned, hung from trees, skulls mounted. This has been going on for hundreds of years, all around the globe. At this part, Jonah's like, I don't have time for conspiracy theories. It's all great and fine that you're thinking this, but at this point, do I need to be worried about you? You seem paranoid about a centuries-old threat and birds. Peter opening up a window. He peers outside, and outside, we have the invisible ship of the Predators. Because our Skinner, he's not the only one here. Before the power went out, when Peter saved the story about the killings to the Daily Bugle, the photograph of the crime scene triggered an algorithm that had been lying in wait. It had been waiting for that exact visual signature. And so when it did go out, that signal flew, and it arrived at our hunting party. The Predators have arrived. They have come to claim one of their own. The one with no clan. The one with no honor. They are here to hunt. Alright guys, we're picking up at the Daily Bugle offices. And on top of the Bugle, this is where we have the Predators. As the three make their descent into the building, Peter Parker's spider senses, they go tingling. With him getting Jonah to safety, he suits up. In his preparation, this is what gives the Predators the opportunity to look around. And it doesn't take long for the hunting party to figure out exactly what they came for. They found the blood trail, the one that Peter has been mapping out. They've come for one of their own, the one with no clan, with no code, the one that disgraces them all. This is when your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man pops in, catching the Predators by surprise. In their shock, they turn on him. They throw their weapons. They attack. And not a single blow is able to land on him. The truth is, these Predators have no idea what is in store. This is what picks us up with Kraven the Hunter. Kraven is ensuring that the power doesn't come back on. He wants to keep the power off in New York City. If news gets out about what's happening, the Avengers are going to show up. And he wants this hunt all to himself. He knew that this was going to take time and patience. This was not your standard prey. And so over the last few days, the crime scenes, they range from nursing homes in Harlem to habitats at the Brooklyn Zoo. There was nothing and nobody that was safe. The Skinner was on a rampage, but New York is a city of eyes, windows, and cameras. Kraven knew that if the Predator was killing throughout the boroughs, if he hadn't been seen or recorded, that means he's traveling below, not above. The Skinner is hiding in the sewers. This is what picks us up below New York City. We pick up with Mary Jane, the homeless man that had tried to bring them to safety, trying to explain what this is. They find themselves in the lair of the Skinner, in his throne room, with Mary Jane in a panic trying to figure out what the heck they're going gonna do next. They hear the cry for help, but our homeless man, he knows that this is just a ploy, that is the Skinner, his way of tricking you. But this homeless man knows that they gotta hide. They gotta find somewhere safe to go until the Skinner passes. And so he leads the two girls into a location, a spot where it opens up and we find nothing but rats. Hundreds upon thousands, all stacked on top of one another, and the homeless man, he pushes the girls right in there as they disappear, as they drown in the sea of rats. Their screams are no longer heard under the screeching of the rats themselves. But this also was the perfect camouflage. When our bad blood comes into the room, the only thing he sees is the homeless man. With his last words, he tells the girls to stay down, to stay safe, as we see the blade piercing through his back. Hopping back over to Spidey, we got the hunting party. Now, these guys aren't extremely focused on Spider-Man. The truth is, they're here after one of their own. They don't really have time for diversion such as Spider-Man. He's more of a nuance. That is, until he isn't. When Spidey takes one of their masks and rip it off their face, this is when he really gets their attention. Claws out, ready to attack. We have two of them charging in on Spider-Man, but he webs them both in the face, jumping back and smashing their skulls together. He knocks two of them unconscious, but then his Spidey senses go off. Not really understanding what's going on, we see a fiery explosion. With this explosion, it almost takes out Jonah. Had it not been for the detective saving his life, Jameson would have been smashed right here on this concrete, and he would have been smashed by a webbed up predator, completely cocooned inside. Jameson and the detective, they look at this thing trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Serial killings, a mass explosion, and then this giant thing that looks like webbing all wrapped up. As the detective goes to inspect it just a little bit closer, that's when the predator pops out, breaking free of the cocoon. It goes directly after Jonah and the detective. Now, this story starts us off with Mary Jane and her friend making it out of the subway, making it out of the sewer system, but the Skinner has been close behind. This Skinner doesn't hunt for honor. It hunts for the fear that it can instill in its victims. It relishes it, thrives in it. But when our Skinner gets ready to go take down Mary Jane, that's when there's an explosion over his shoulder. Our bad blood, despised, targeted. He can smell the plasma burning of a ship nearby. He knows what this is. He knows that the hunting party is here for him. And so, letting his kill go, he takes off running, and we have Kraven the hunter that has come to Mary Jane, following behind in the sewers. He wants to know, where is the predator? This is what takes us over to Spider-Man. After the hunting party had caught up with him and Jonah, they find themselves in a rather sticky situation. Outside the offices of the Daily Bugle, Spider-Man is doing all he can to help keep everybody alive. But when one of these predators goes to attack Jonah, he almost gets it off, but then a sword comes through his back. Our bad blood has arrived. Up in the office building, we have Spider-Man that is still facing against the rest of the hunting party. And though they're not here for him, he's enough of a threat, enough of an annoyance, that they're gonna try to take him off the board. On top of the Daily Bugle, though, this is where we have the hunting party's ship. And our bad blood, he knows that his best chance of survival isn't a full-on assault with the hunting party. It's to return to the shadows. He goes to destroy the ship. If he destroys it, they're trapped here, which means it is the city versus our predators. And considering he's already been here for some time, he's got an advantage over the hunting party. But our bad blood is so focused on the hunting party, he doesn't see the other hunter stalking him. This is where Kraven jumps in. He drives his knife into the chest of our bad blood. And though this does some damage, it's not putting him down. Each of them draw blood. But as these two go one-on-one, the outcome is Kraven. Kraven holding the head of the bad blood. He came here for the most dangerous game. He has hunted every predator on this planet. Now his attention goes to the stars. With Spider-Man swinging in, we see that the Bad Blood, he's got an explosive on his arm, a self-detonation. Kraven cuts off the arm and he sends it to Spidey. And as Spider-Man wraps this up in his webbing, he goes swinging through the city. He does his best to try and get it to the river in time. And anybody that would be watching, you would believe that this is the demise of Spider-Man. With the giant explosion, even Kraven says that that has to be a worthy death. But with Kraven caught off guard, the hunting party has found him. As they take each other on, we see the Predator grab hold of Kraven and lift him up. And Kraven says that if I'm gonna die, then let me die like this, at the hands of a great hunter. Down on street level, this is where we have our cop and we have Jonah. We see that one of the Predators is still alive, still holding on to that small fragment of life. But this is when Dr. Abram Cornelius shows up. He says that he will be taking that specimen from here on out. And with Mary Jane looking over the river, she cries, she pleads for Peter to be alive. And that is when she hears his voice, Peter climbing out of the water. And then we go over to Kraven. As this Predator looks like he's about to put Kraven down, two of the hunting party have a conversation and he drops Kraven. And Kraven obviously is confused. The Predator taking off his helmet, he grabs Kraven by the head and etches into his forehead the mark of Skinner. Kraven hasn't just been spared, he has been branded as an ultimate killer, a bloodied warrior, repeating what Kraven had said, a great warrior, come and get it. This is where we see Kraven rushing onto the hunting party ship and they take off to the stars. As they take off, Mary Jane very ecstatic that they've left, thinking finally they're gone and we are safe. But Peter doesn't think that this is over. But for today, at least for tonight, they get a break from monsters. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We have Kraven, who is taking off to the stars. He's joining the hunting party, and in the stars, Kraven is going to be tested to his most severe. We're going to see what he is truly capable of against some of the best Predators in the universe. Coming out next month, we have Predator Kills the Marvel Universe issue number 1. This is going to tie directly into that. We're going to see the Predators and Marvel heroes go off, with the Predator King emboldened by a new vibranium arsenal, and we got to assume aided by Kraven. He launches a full-scale invasion of Earth. He claims this planet as a hunting preserve. And so I'm very curious on who's gonna survive, who is gonna die. We already saw that Spider-Man, he can definitely hold his own against one. Against a whole hunting party, maybe not. I think it's fair to say that he could probably escape. He might be able to take down a few in the hunting party, and in the right circumstances, he could probably take down the whole hunting party given the opportunity. But in that situation, I see Spidey more running from the situation to regroup and figure out what the hell is going on. And we saw that Kraven can take one down. So if Kraven can take one down, we gotta see that most of our heroes are gonna be able to go one-on-one. But giving them vibranium, given the mass amount of technology that the Predators have, it might even the playing field. Now, I think it's fair to assume our reality warpers, the Franklin Richards, the Phoenixes, maybe even Thor and Hulk probably won't be involved in this fight. I would assume that they're just too overpowered to take on the Predators. But Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America, I would assume that we could see these guys in there. I mean, Predator King versus Captain America? Let's go, dude. I am 100% here for that. But these have been fun little stories. If I'm being honest, the Spider-Man versus Predator isn't as exciting as I thought it would be. It really did take 4 issues to see any kind of fighting, and Spider-Man didn't even really fight. He just kind of ran away and Kraven fought. This should have been Predator versus Kraven. If you had done that instead of Predator versus Spider-Man, I think this comic would have been a lot better. But unfortunately, this was just a mediocre story. It didn't bring a whole lot to the table. I'm really hoping that Predator versus the Marvel Universe, that's gonna be what steps up the game. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely completely caught up on everything that is going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.